Here's the thing about working for a Mafia boss. You learn real quick that being invisible keeps you breathing. For 11 months, I perfected the art of existing without being seen in Lorenzo Valenti's world. I was the night archivist who restored their old documents, the girl who floated through their glass and marble tower like I wasn't even there. Lorenzo himself? He was the kind of presence that changed the oxygen in a room, the kind where his footsteps made security guards snap to attention and rival bosses lower their eyes. I'd see him sometimes through half-open doors, dark hair, expensive suits, eyes that could cut through steel. He'd hold meetings where grown men spoke in hushed Italian and left looking pale. My job was cleaning up after, collecting their forgotten glasses, wiping down conference tables, pretending I hadn't heard a thing. I didn't ask questions. Questions got people hurt. My job description was simple: be invisible, stay alive, go home. But the night those two men cornered me in the rain, beat me bloody, and left me broken in an alley, everything I thought I knew about my invisible life shattered in 3 words Lorenzo Valenti whispered over my broken body. "Who did this to you, Emilia?" He knew my name. He'd always known my name. Before we continue, if you're already hooked by Emilia and Lorenzo's story, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button for undiluted love stories. Trust me, you'll want to see where this goes. Now, let me tell you how it all began. My life outside Valenti Tower was almost laughably ordinary. I shared a tiny apartment in Valenza's old quarter with my cousin Sophia. She worked mornings at a bakery while I worked nights for the city's most dangerous family. Our place had cracked tiles, a shower that only produced scalding or freezing water, and windows that rattled when trucks passed. But we'd painted the walls ourselves, hung cheap fairy lights that made everything feel less desperate, and called it home. I needed the overnight shifts. Not wanted, needed. My parents had died 2 years ago, and the accidental fire that killed them left me with nothing but debt and questions nobody wanted to answer. Between funeral costs and the medical bills from my mother's final hospital stay, I owed more money than I'd probably earn in 5 years. I took every extra hour offered, survived on espresso and protein bars, and told myself it wouldn't be forever. The Valenti Financial Group occupied the tallest building in Valenza's business district, 37 floors of glass and steel. Most employees worked days in their legitimate finance operations. I worked nights in the archives, 3 floors below ground, where the real history lived. Handwritten ledgers from the 1960s. Shipping manifests using codes instead of product names. Photographs of men in fedoras shaking hands outside warehouses that no longer existed. Lorenzo Valenti himself was more myth than man to me. I'd been working there 11 months and could count on one hand the times he'd been on my floor. But I always knew when he was in the building. The air changed. Security doubled. People moved differently, quicker, quieter, more careful. The few times I'd seen him, it was always at a distance. He'd never looked at me. Never acknowledged my existence. That's what I believed, anyway. That Tuesday night started like any other. I arrived at Valenti Tower at midnight, badged through security, took the service elevator down to archive level 3. I'd barely settled in when Lorenzo's personal assistant appeared. Marco, mid-40s, always impeccably dressed, never smiled. He carried a locked archive box that he set on my desk with surprising care. "Priority project," Marco said, producing a key and unlocking the box. "Mr. Valenti wants these digitized immediately. Complete discretion, Emilia." The use of my first name made me blink. Marco usually called me Miss Rossi when he called me anything at all. "Mr. Valenti specifically requested you for this task. Don't disappoint him." The ledgers were old, some dating back to the 1950s. Names I recognized from true crime documentaries. Dates that aligned with famous unsolved cases. Shipping routes with codes that obviously weren't referring to olive oil or wine. Every instinct I had screamed that I should refuse this job. But Lorenzo Valenti had specifically requested me. And you don't refuse Lorenzo Valenti. By 1 a.m., I'd finished. Every page scanned, digitized, backed up to the encrypted server. I gathered my things and stepped into the rain-soaked night. The walk to the bus stop was only 4 blocks. I'd made it hundreds of times. The neighborhood was supposed to be safe. This was Lorenzo Valenti's territory, after all. That's where they grabbed me. 2 men, faces covered by dark balaclavas, appearing from the shadows so fast I didn't have time to scream. Hands clamped over my mouth. Arms pinning mine. My backpack ripped from my shoulder. "Don't fight and this goes easy," One of them growled in Italian. But then the other one saw my work badge, still clipped to my jacket pocket. The Valenti Financial Group logo gleaming under the streetlight. Everything changed. Wait, the second man hissed. She works for him. She works for Valenti. The first man's grip tightened painfully. Even better. Valenti thinks he owns these streets. Let's send him a message. The first punch came before I could speak. Then another. And another. I stopped counting. Stopped fighting. Just curled inward and prayed for it to end. When they finally released me, I crumpled to the wet pavement. Through the ringing in my ears, I heard one of them laugh. Tell your boss the DeSantos send their regards. I don't know how long I lay there. Every breath felt like broken glass in my chest. My left eye wouldn't open. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. Valenti Tower was closer than the bus stop. I stumbled toward it, one agonizing step at a time. The security guard's eyes went wide when he saw me, but before he could speak, a voice cut through the lobby like a blade. Emilia. I turned, and there he was. Lorenzo Valenti. Perfectly tailored suit soaked with rain. Dark hair plastered to his forehead. And those eyes, those cutting, terrifying eyes, locked on me with an intensity that made the world stop spinning. He crossed the distance between us in 3 strides, and then his hands were on my face, gentle despite their strength, tilting my head up so he could see the damage. Rain fell over both of us. His thumb barely grazed my swollen cheekbone, and I saw something in his expression I'd never seen before. Rage. Pure, controlled, absolutely terrifying rage. When he spoke, his voice was so low I almost didn't hear it over the rain. Who did this to you, Emilia? And the world went black. I woke to the smell of antiseptic and expensive leather. My first thought was that I'd died. My second was that every single part of my body hurt. My third, the one that made my eyes snap open, was that I definitely wasn't in a hospital. The room was too nice. Mahogany panels lined the walls. A crystal chandelier hung from the ceiling. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see Valenza City spread out below like a blanket of lights. I was still in Valenti Tower. But this wasn't the archives. You're awake. I jerked at the sound of his voice. Lorenzo Valenti sat in a leather armchair near the windows, perfectly still, watching me. He'd changed into a fresh charcoal suit with a white shirt open at the collar. Where am I? My private medical suite. He stood, moving with that predatory grace. The doctor has already examined you. 3 cracked ribs, severe bruising, a mild concussion, and facial trauma that will heal without scarring. I should go home. You're not going anywhere. It wasn't a suggestion. Sophia will be worried. Your cousin has been informed you're safe and receiving medical care. You talked to Sophia. One of my people talked to her. You need rest. You'll stay here tonight where you're safe. That word, safe, hung in the air between us. How do you know my name? Lorenzo's expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air. I know everything about you, Emilia. That's not an answer. No, it's a truth. He leaned forward and began listing facts about my life as casually as if he were reading a grocery list. Emilia Maria Rossi, 26 years old. Born in Valenza. Your parents died in a house fire 2 years ago, ruled accidental despite the threatening letters your father received. You inherited €43,000 in debt. You work here 4 nights a week, take online courses in art restoration, and volunteer at the city library every other Sunday. My blood ran cold. How? You take the number 7 bus. You buy coffee from the same cafe every morning, espresso, no sugar, with a cornetto on Fridays when you can afford it. You're allergic to shellfish. You speak 3 languages. Your favorite book is The Count of Monte Cristo, and you've read it 17 times. You've been watching me. It wasn't a question. Yes. No apology. No explanation. Why? Lorenzo walked to the windows, hands in his pockets. When he finally spoke, his voice was quieter than I'd ever heard it. 11 months ago, you walked into my building for your interview. When my HR director asked why you wanted this job, you said, because I'm good at making broken things whole again, and I need to believe that matters. I remembered that interview. Everyone else who applies here wants money or status or connections. You wanted purpose. And when you left that day, I knew you were the most dangerous person who'd ever walked into my building.
Dangerous?
I'm an archivist who weighs 50 kilograms. Dangerous because you made me want something I can't afford to want. The words hung between us, heavy with implication. The documents I gave you tonight, Lorenzo said. What did you think of them? I thought they were dangerous. I thought I shouldn't be handling them. And I thought you were testing me.
Smart girl.
But you're wrong about one thing. I wasn't testing your loyalty. I was testing theirs.
I don't understand.
Someone in my organization is feeding information to the DeSanto syndicate. I needed to set a trap.
His jaw clenched.
I didn't expect them to target you directly. The men who attacked me mentioned the DeSantos.
I know.
By dawn, I'll know their names. By tomorrow night, they'll wish they'd never been born. The casual way he said it should have terrified me. You said I have something that belongs to you. What did you mean? Lorenzo was quiet for so long I thought he wouldn't answer. When he did, his voice was barely above a whisper.
You have my attention, Emilia. My focus. My concern.
And in my world, that's the most dangerous thing I can give anyone. He moved to the door, paused with his hand on the handle.
Get some rest.
We'll talk more in the morning.
What happens next?
He looked back at me, and in the low light, his expression was almost gentle. Next, the city learns what it costs to touch something that belongs to Lorenzo Valenti. If you're still with me, drop a comment. Do you think Lorenzo's been protecting Emilia this whole time, or is there something darker going on? Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.
I didn't sleep.
How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I felt hands grabbing me, fists connecting with my ribs. Around 4 a.m., I heard voices in the hallway. 3 locations identified, move before sunrise, wants them alive. Marco, he was very clear. Around noon, the door opened.
Not Lorenzo.
Marco, carrying shopping bags.
Miss Rossi.
Mr. Valenti thought you might need fresh clothes. Your cousin provided your sizes. He set the bags down. When you're ready, there's someone who'd like to see you.
My heart leaped. Sophia.
Sophia was pacing when Marco led me in. The moment she saw me, her face crumpled.
EMI. Oh God, EMI.
She pulled me into a careful hug, shaking against me.
I'm okay. I'm okay, Soph.
We sat, and I told her everything. The documents. The walk home.
The attack.
What I didn't tell her was Lorenzo's confession that he'd been watching me. You need to quit, Sophia said immediately. This isn't random muggers. This is Mafia violence.
Soph. I'm serious, Emilia.
I have 43,000 euros in debt and rent due next week.
We'll figure it out.
Doing what? This job pays 3 times what I could make anywhere else. Before Sophia could argue, the door opened and Lorenzo walked in. Sophia went rigid beside me. Lorenzo commanded space the way gravity commanded planets. Miss Rossi, he addressed Sophia with a slight nod. Thank you for coming. I hope Emilia has assured you she's receiving the best possible care.
She has.
But I'd like to take my cousin home now. I'm afraid that's not possible. With respect, Mr. Valenti, you can't keep her here against her will. Emilia is free to leave whenever she chooses, but I'd strongly advise against it.
Why? I asked.
Because as of 6 o'clock this morning, every street in your neighborhood is being watched by DeSanto soldiers. Your apartment building is under surveillance. The moment you step outside my protection, you become a target again. Sophia's sharp intake of breath filled the silence. That's not possible. How would they know where we live? They've known for months. They've been watching Emilia since she started working here.
Use her how?
Sophia demanded.
She's an archivist.
What matters is what they think she knows. Last night's attack wasn't random violence. It was a message.
What message?
That they can reach anyone in my organization. They assumed attacking you would weaken me.
His jaw clenched.
They made a mistake. Sophia stood abruptly. So Emilia can't go home?
Can't live her life. Not forever.
Just until I've resolved the situation. You mean until you've killed the people who did this?
Lorenzo didn't deny it. This is insane.
Sophia looked at me.
EMI, tell him you want to come home.
I wanted to. But I thought about the fear in those men's voices when they saw my badge.
I can't.
If they're watching our building, being there puts you in danger too.
I won't do that.
So you'll just stay here?
With him.
Right now, he's the only thing standing between us and people who want to hurt me.
Sophia's face crumpled. I hate this.
She looked past me to Lorenzo, her voice cold. If anything happens to her, anything at all, I will make you pay for it. Lorenzo's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes that might have been respect.
Understood.
After Sophia left, escorted by 2 security team members, I found myself alone with Lorenzo again. Your cousin loves you very much. She's all the family I have left.
I know. Of course he did. What happens now?
Now, we wait for nightfall.
Why?
When I turned to look at him, his expression was the coldest thing I'd ever seen. Because that's when the city learns what it costs to touch what's mine. Night fell over Valenza City, and with it came a silence that felt wrong.
Around 7 p.m., Marco appeared. Mr. Valenti requests your presence. His office.
20 minutes later, I stood in Lorenzo's corner office, staring at a wall of surveillance monitors behind his desk.
Dozens of feeds. Street corners, building entrances, warehouses. What am I looking at?
The DeSanto organization. Or what's left of it after today. Lorenzo pressed a button.
3 warehouses raided.
2 money laundering fronts shut down.
17 soldiers arrested.
5 high-ranking members currently being questioned. You did all this since this morning.
I did this before dawn. What message?
That anyone who touches you answers to me personally.
I'm not yours to protect. Aren't you?
His eyes searched my face. You work in my building. You handle my most sensitive documents. You wear my organization's badge. So tell me, Emilia, whose are you, if not mine?
I'm my own.
Yes.
You are.
And that's precisely why I'm going to give you a choice right now. He pressed another button.
A new image appeared.
2 men, bound to chairs in a concrete basement.
Blood, bruises, terror in their eyes. My stomach dropped. Are those
the men who attacked you? We found them 6 hours ago. What are you going to do to them?
That depends on you.
I can make this quick. Or I can make it slow.
Painful.
I can make sure they understand exactly what they took from you. You're asking me to choose how you kill them. I'm asking you what you need to feel safe again.
I don't know how to answer that.
Then let me tell you what I need.
I need them to suffer.
I need every criminal in this city to know that what happened to you comes with consequences so severe they'll lose sleep over it. This isn't about me. This is about your reputation.
It's about both.
But mostly, it's about the fact that when I saw you bleeding on those steps, something inside me broke.
And I don't break, Emilia.
A knock at the door.
Marco entered, expression grave.
Sir. One of them is talking. Lorenzo's demeanor shifted instantly.
What did he say?
That the attack was ordered from higher up. That there are more plans in motion. That Miss Rossi was never the real target.
Ice flooded my veins. What does that mean?
It means the documents were a distraction. The attack was a distraction. They wanted us focused on protecting you while they executed something else.
What else?
That's what I'm going to find out.
Stay here. Don't leave this office.
He left, and I was alone with the monitors showing violence I couldn't look away from. When Lorenzo finally returned, his expression was darker.
Tell me, I said.
He poured himself whiskey, downed it, then poured another. The attack on you was meant to pull my attention while they executed a data breach. They had someone inside my organization feeding them information for months.
The mole you mentioned.
Yes. And tonight, while I was busy destroying their street operations, they were stealing encrypted files from my private servers.
That's catastrophic. It would have been.
Except the files they stole are fake. I've known about the mole for weeks.
I set up a false server.
The moment they accessed those files, we pinpointed their location. Lorenzo's smile was sharp as broken glass. They think they won. By morning, they'll realize they've handed me everything I need to dismantle their entire operation.
You played them.
But there's something else. The documents you digitized? They contained information about your parents' deaths.
Everything stopped. What?
Lorenzo pulled a folder from his desk.
Your father's fire.
It wasn't an accident. It was ordered by the DeSanto family because your father witnessed a murder.
A political assassination.
He was a taxi driver, wrong place, wrong time. My hands shook as I took the folder. Inside were photographs, documents, evidence of a conspiracy that had stolen my parents.
Why are you telling me this?
Because you deserve to know the truth. And because the men who ordered your parents' deaths are the same men who ordered your attack last night. Because this was never random. You're saying I was never safe.
No.
You were always in danger. But now you're in danger with someone willing to burn the entire city down to protect you. I don't want the city to burn. I want my parents back. Lorenzo reached out slowly and cupped my uninjured cheek. His touch was impossibly gentle.
You're not a pawn, Emilia. You're the queen.
And every move I make from this point forward is about keeping you on the board. Before I could respond, his phone buzzed. His expression went deadly.
What?
The DeSantos just made their countermove. He showed me the screen, a photo of Sophia outside our building with a red crosshair photoshopped over her face.
The message: trade. The girl for your archivist. Midnight.
Come alone or they both die.
My blood turned to ice.
No. Sophia has nothing to do with this.
I know.
Lorenzo was already moving, barking orders into his phone.
Marco.
Get a team to the Rossi apartment now. I want Sophia in protective custody in 20 minutes or heads will roll. He grabbed a gun from his desk drawer. What are you doing?
Going to get your cousin. They said come alone.
They also think I'm stupid enough to walk into an ambush unarmed.
His eyes met mine. Stay here.
Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me or Marco.
Do you understand? Lorenzo.
Do you understand, Emilia?
Yes.
He nodded, started for the door, then stopped.
Turned back.
Crossed the distance and kissed me.
It wasn't gentle.
It was desperate and possessive and tasted like whiskey and promises. When he pulled back, his forehead rested against mine.
I'll bring her back. I swear it.
Then he was gone, and I was alone watching black SUVs pour from the garage like angry hornets. Somewhere across the city, Sophia was in danger because of me. Somewhere in the darkness, Lorenzo was walking into a trap. And somewhere deep in my chest, something whispered a truth I wasn't ready to admit. I was in love with a monster. The next 2 hours were the longest of my life. I sat in Lorenzo's office, eyes glued to the monitors, watching black SUVs cut through Valenza City. My heart hammered against my bruised ribs.
My phone buzzed. Unknown number.
Asterisk she's secure.
Minor panic attack but unharmed. Bringing her to the tower. M asterisk.
Relief hit me so hard I nearly sobbed. But another message came immediately. Asterisk safe for now. But the DeSantos won't stop. They've demanded the meeting.
Lorenzo is going. M asterisk. No. He can't.
I was on my feet, rushing to the door.
Locked. Marco. I pounded. Let me out.
The door opened suddenly. But it wasn't Marco. It was Lorenzo. His suit was disheveled, a cut above his eyebrow, his eyes wild. You're supposed to be getting Sophia.
She's already here.
3 floors down, protected by 6 of my best men. He stepped in, closing the door.
We need to talk.
About walking into their trap?
Lorenzo, they'll kill you.
They'll try. But they won't succeed because I'm not going alone, unarmed, or to negotiate. Then what are you going to do?
He poured another whiskey. I'm going to end this. Tonight. Permanently. By doing what?
By accepting their meeting.
By bringing you with me. Absolutely not.
And by showing them exactly what happens when they threaten what's mine. The DeSanto patriarch wants a face-to-face. Wants to humiliate me, prove I'm weak. So I'm going to give him exactly what he wants.
You're using me as bait.
I'm using you as a declaration. He gripped my shoulders, firm but careful. This meeting isn't about negotiation.
It's about power.
About sending a message so clear that no one will ever question my authority again.
What message?
That you are untouchable. That you are under my absolute protection. That anyone who looks at you wrong will pay with everything they have. You're going to claim me publicly.
That makes me a target forever.
You are already a target. At least this way, you're a target with the most dangerous man in northern Italy willing to go to war for you. What if something goes wrong? Then I die making sure you don't. The certainty in his voice made something in my chest crack open.
I don't want you to die for me.
Then stay alive so I don't have to.
He stepped back.
I need you to trust me. Can you do that?
Could I? I don't know.
Fair enough. He pulled out another gun, smaller, sleeker, and held it out.
Then trust this.
Safety's here. Point and shoot if anyone threatens you.
I stared at the weapon. I've never.
Hopefully you won't have to start tonight. But I'd rather you have it. I took the gun, tucked it into my jacket pocket.
When do we leave?
20 minutes. The drive across Valenza felt surreal. I sat in Lorenzo's armored SUV, watching streets blur past while my heart tried to climb out of my throat. 2 minutes out, Marco's voice crackled.
No sign of ambush.
They're waiting inside. Remember, we go in together, we leave together. No one breaks formation. Lorenzo ended the call and turned to me. Last chance to change your mind.
Yes, I do.
Whatever happened, I needed to see it through. Needed to look the people who'd ordered my parents' deaths in the eye. When we get inside, you stay beside me. You don't speak unless I tell you to. You don't react, no matter what they say.
You're a statue. Cold. Untouchable.
I can do that. And if shooting starts, get down, stay down, shoot anyone who isn't me or Marco.
His lips twitched. Fast learner.
We pulled up to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts. Floodlights illuminated the entrance. Other vehicles already parked.
Armed guards.
Lorenzo exited first, extended a hand to help me out. When my feet hit pavement, my legs nearly buckled. But Lorenzo's hand on my lower back steadied me. Inside, the warehouse had been transformed. A table, chairs, portable lights. And at the head sat a man who could only be the De Santo patriarch. Vittorio De Santo was probably 70, white-haired and sharp-eyed. He smiled when he saw us, a predator's smile.
Lorenzo Valenti.
Right on time. His eyes slid to me. And you brought your pet.
How? Domestic.
Lorenzo's hand pressed harder against my back, a warning.
Stay calm. Vittorio.
You wanted to talk.
So talk. Sit.
Let's discuss the terms of your surrender. Lorenzo laughed, genuine, delighted.
My surrender?
I've dismantled 3 of your operations, arrested 17 of your soldiers. What makes you think I'm here to surrender? Because I have something you want. Vittorio snapped his fingers. 2 guards dragged someone forward.
My heart stopped. Sophia.
She was bound, gagged, her eyes wide with terror. Bruises colored her cheek. You said she was safe, I hissed at Lorenzo. The one we extracted was a decoy, Vittorio said, enjoying himself. We've had your cousin since this afternoon. That rescue mission?
Theater.
Let her go, I said. This is between you and Lorenzo.
She's innocent.
No one is innocent in this world, girl. But I'm feeling generous. Here's my offer, you come work for me. In exchange, your cousin lives. Emilia doesn't negotiate with you, Lorenzo said coldly. She doesn't work for you. Then the cousin dies. Vittorio shrugged. I looked at Sophia, terrified, helpless. Then at Lorenzo. Let me talk to him.
Emilia. Please.
Lorenzo gave a barely perceptible nod. I stepped forward, faced Vittorio. You ordered my parents' deaths. Vittorio's smile widened. Did I? How unfortunate for them. They were innocent. Who saw something he shouldn't have. Became a liability. Nothing personal.
Just business.
The casual way he said it made something inside me snap. Then this is business too.
And I pulled the gun from my jacket.
The warehouse exploded into motion.
Guards reaching for weapons. Marco and Lorenzo's men moving.
But I didn't aim at Vittorio. I aimed at the rope binding Sophia's hands and pulled the trigger. The shot rang out.
The rope split.
Sophia scrambled backward.
And Lorenzo smiled like a wolf.
Well, I think negotiations just concluded. Then he placed his hand on the back of my neck, possessive, claiming, and addressed the room. Let me make something very clear. This woman, Emilia Rossi, is under my absolute protection. She is not a bargaining chip.
She is not a target. His fingers tightened. Touch her again, and I will erase your bloodline. Every single member.
The silence was deafening. Then Vittorio laughed. You've lost your mind over a girl, Valenti.
Motivated, Lorenzo replied. Get Sophia. We're leaving.
Marco moved fast, reaching Sophia and pulling her behind our line. Vittorio stood, face twisted with rage. You walk out, this means war.
Good.
I've been wanting to finish what my father started anyway. We backed toward the exit, weapons drawn. But as we reached the door, Vittorio called out.
You'll regret this.
Lorenzo paused, looked back. She's not my downfall, Vittorio. She's the reason I'll finally stop showing mercy. Then we were outside, running for the SUVs, Sophia sobbing as we piled in. The engines roared. And as we sped away, Lorenzo pulled out his phone and sent a single text. 3 seconds later, the night sky lit up orange. The warehouse exploded behind us, a fireball that shook the ground.
You blew up the warehouse, I breathed. With them inside. I told you. Tonight, I end this.
Sophia was crying. The city was burning. And Lorenzo's hand held mine. The explosion painted the night sky orange and red as we raced away. My ears still rang from the gunshot, my hands still trembling.
They're all dead, I whispered.
Not everyone. The guards outside survived. That was intentional. I need them to spread the word.
What word?
That Lorenzo Valenti just declared war. Sophia stared at Lorenzo with something between terror and awe. You killed them all. Just like that.
They took you.
They threatened Emilia. They murdered her parents. Did you expect mercy?
My phone buzzed. News alerts.
Asterisk massive explosion rocks warehouse district asterisk asterisk gang violence escalates asterisk asterisk Valenti de Santo conflict reaches breaking point asterisk.
It's starting, I breathed.
Lorenzo's phone rang.
Report. Good.
Proceed with phase 2. I want every de Santo asset frozen by dawn. No, I don't care about collateral damage.
He looked at me. You shot the rope.
I couldn't let them use her against you.
Against us.
This stopped being just about me the moment I said your name. Sophia made a broken sound. EMI, what have you gotten yourself into?
I don't know.
But I'm sorry you got dragged into it. That I have 43,000 euros in debt and this job pays 3 times what I could make anywhere else. And Lorenzo said I'm protected.
Lorenzo.
Sophia's eyes narrowed. You're calling him Lorenzo? Before I could answer, Lorenzo walked in. Sophia went rigid. Miss Rossi, thank you for coming. Emilia is receiving the best possible care. I'd like to take my cousin home now. I'm afraid that's not possible. You can't keep her here against her will.
I'm not.
Emilia is free to leave. But I'd strongly advise against it.
Why?
Because as of 6 this morning, every street in your neighborhood is being watched by De Santo soldiers. The moment she steps outside my protection, she becomes a target. That's not possible. They've known for months where you live. They've been watching Emilia, waiting to use her against me.
Use her how?
She's an archivist. What matters is what they think she knows. Last night's attack was a message. Sophia stood. So Emilia can't go home? Can't live her life? Not forever. Just until I've resolved the situation. You mean killed them? Lorenzo didn't deny it. This is insane. Sophia looked at me. Tell him you want to come home.
I can't.
If they're watching our building, being there puts you in danger.
I won't do that.
So you'll stay here?
With him.
Right now, he's the only thing standing between us and people who want to hurt me. Sophia pulled me into another hug.
I hate this.
When she pulled back, she looked at Lorenzo, her voice cold. If anything happens to her, I will make you pay for it.
Understood.
After Sophia left, I was alone with Lorenzo again.
What happens now?
Now, we wait for nightfall. That's when the city learns what it costs to touch what's mine.
Night fell.
Around 7, Marco appeared. Mr. Valenti requests your presence. In Lorenzo's corner office, a wall of surveillance monitors showed dozens of feeds.
What am I looking at?
The DeSanto organization. What's left after today? 3 warehouses raided. 2 fronts shut down. 17 soldiers arrested. 5 members being questioned. You did all this since morning.
Before dawn.
Making sure the message was received.
What message?
That anyone who touches you answers to me personally. He pressed a button. 2 men appeared on screen, bound to chairs in a basement.
Blood, bruises, terror. Are those
the men who attacked you? Found them 6 hours ago. What are you going to do? That depends on you. Quick, a bullet, forgotten by morning.
Or slow, painful.
Make them understand what they took from you. You're asking me to choose how you kill them. I'm asking what you need to feel safe. I don't know how to answer that. Then let me tell you what I need. I need them to suffer. I need every criminal in this city to know there are consequences. This is about your reputation. It's about both. But mostly, it's about the fact that when I saw you bleeding, something inside me broke.
And I don't break, Emilia. A knock. Marco entered. Sir.
One of them is talking. The attack was ordered from higher up. There are more plans. Miss Rossi was never the real target.
What does that mean?
The documents were a distraction. The attack was a distraction. They wanted us focused on you while they executed something else.
Lorenzo left.
When he returned, his expression was darker. He poured whiskey, downed it. The attack was cover for a data breach. Someone inside my organization feeding them information for months. Tonight, while I destroyed their operations, they stole encrypted files.
That's catastrophic.
Except the files are fake. I've known about the mole for weeks. Set up a false server. The moment they accessed it, we pinpointed their location. They think they won. By morning, they'll realize they've given me everything I need.
You played them.
But there's something else. The documents you digitized contained information about your parents' deaths.
Everything stopped.
Lorenzo pulled out a folder. Your father's fire wasn't an accident. It was ordered by the DeSanto family because he witnessed a murder.
A political assassination.
He was a taxi driver, wrong place, wrong time. Inside were photographs, documents, evidence.
Why tell me this?
Because you deserve the truth. And because the men who ordered your parents' deaths ordered your attack. This was never random.
I was never safe.
You were always in danger. But now you're in danger with someone willing to burn the city to protect you.
Lorenzo cupped my cheek. You're not a pawn. You're the queen.
And every move I make is about keeping you on the board.
His phone buzzed.
His expression went deadly. A photo of Sophia with a crosshair over her face.
Trade.
The girl for your archivist.
Midnight.
Come alone or they both die.
No.
Sophia has nothing.
I know.
Lorenzo grabbed his phone.
Marco.
Get a team to the Rossi apartment now. I want Sophia in custody in 20 minutes or heads will roll. He grabbed a gun. What are you doing?
Getting your cousin.
They said come alone. They think I'm stupid enough to walk into an ambush unarmed. His eyes met mine.
Stay here.
Lock the door. Don't open for anyone but me or Marco.
Understand? Yes.
He crossed the distance and kissed me. Desperate, possessive, tasting like whiskey and promises.
I'll bring her back. I swear.
Then he was gone. 2 hours felt like eternity. My phone buzzed, asterisk she's secure. Minor panic attack but unharmed.
Bringing her to the tower. M asterisk. Relief.
But another message, asterisk safe for now. But they've demanded the meeting.
Lorenzo is going. M asterisk.
I pounded on the locked door.
Marco. Let me out. The door opened.
Lorenzo stood there, suit disheveled, cut above his eyebrow.
Sophia's here. 3 floors down, protected. We need to talk.
About walking into their trap. They'll try to kill me.
Won't succeed.
I'm not going alone, unarmed, or to negotiate.
Then what?
I'm ending this.
Tonight.
By accepting their meeting.
By bringing you. No.
And showing them what happens when they threaten what's mine. He gripped my shoulders. This isn't about negotiation.
It's about power.
Sending a message so clear no one will question my authority.
What message?
That you are untouchable. Under my absolute protection. You're claiming me publicly.
That makes me a target forever.
You are already a target. At least this way, you have the most dangerous man in northern Italy protecting you. What if something goes wrong? Then I die making sure you don't. I don't want you to die for me. Then stay alive so I don't have to.
Trust me. I don't know if I can.
He pulled out a gun.
Then trust this. Safety here. Point and shoot if threatened. I took it. When do we leave? 20 minutes.
The drive felt surreal. Watching streets blur, heart hammering. 2 minutes out, Marco crackled.
They're waiting inside. We go in together, leave together. No one breaks formation.
Lorenzo turned to me.
Last chance. I need to see this through.
Stay beside me. Don't speak unless I say.
Don't react. You're a statue.
And if shooting starts, get down, shoot anyone who isn't you or Marco. We pulled up to an abandoned warehouse.
Floodlights. Armed guards.
Lorenzo helped me out, hand on my lower back steadying me.
Inside, a table, chairs, lights.
At the head sat Vittorio De Santo, 70, white-haired, sharp-eyed.
Lorenzo Valenti. Right on time.
And you brought your pet.
Lorenzo's hand pressed harder. Stay calm.
You wanted to talk.
Talk. Sit. Let's discuss your surrender. Lorenzo laughed.
My surrender? I've dismantled 3 operations, arrested 17 soldiers. What makes you think I'm surrendering? Because I have something you want. Guards dragged someone forward.
Sophia. Bound, gagged, bruised.
You said she was safe, I hissed. The one we extracted was a decoy, Vittorio said. We've had your cousin since afternoon. That rescue?
Theater. Let her go.
This is between you and Lorenzo.
No one is innocent.
Here's my offer, work for me. Your cousin lives. Emilia doesn't negotiate with you, Lorenzo said.
Then she dies. I looked at Sophia. Then Lorenzo. Let me talk to him. Lorenzo nodded. I stepped forward.
You ordered my parents' deaths.
Vittorio smiled. How unfortunate for them.
They were innocent. Saw something they shouldn't. Became a liability.
Nothing personal.
Something inside me snapped. Then this is business too. I pulled the gun and shot the rope binding Sophia. The warehouse exploded into motion. Guards reaching for weapons. The rope split. Sophia scrambled back. Lorenzo smiled like a wolf. Negotiations concluded. He placed his hand on my neck, possessive, claiming, "This woman is under my absolute protection. Not a bargaining chip. Not a target. Touch her again, and I will erase your bloodline."
Silence. Vittorio laughed.
You've lost your mind over a girl.
Motivated. Get Sophia. We're leaving.
Marco grabbed Sophia, pulled her to safety. Vittorio stood, enraged. You walk out, this means war.
Good.
I've been wanting to finish what my father started. We backed out, weapons drawn.
You'll regret this.
Lorenzo paused. She's not my downfall. She's the reason I'll stop showing mercy. Outside, we ran for the SUVs, piled in. Lorenzo sent a text. 3 seconds later, the warehouse exploded, a fireball lighting the night.
You blew it up. With them inside. Tonight, I end this.
The explosion painted the sky as we raced away.
They're all dead. Not everyone. The guards survived. Intentional. I need them to spread the word. What word?
That Lorenzo Valenti declared war. News alerts flooded my phone. *explosion rocks warehouse ** gang violence escalates *. Lorenzo's phone rang constantly.
Proceed with Phase 2.
Freeze every DeSanto asset by dawn.
Another call. Unknown number. I answered.
Heavy breathing. Then, you think you've won? You think killing Vittorio ends this?
Who is this? Dante DeSanto. Vittorio's son.
I wasn't at that warehouse. Lucky for me, unlucky for you. You just made yourself the number one target. And when I come for you, I'm not going after Valenti. I'm going after you.
Your cousin. Everyone you love. The line went dead. I told Lorenzo every word.
His expression went arctic. He made a call. Find Dante DeSanto.
Location within the hour. Bring him to me alive. He turned to me. Pack a bag. We're leaving.
Leaving. Dante DeSanto is Vittorio's son and twice as vicious. We need to disappear until my men neutralize the threat.
What about Sophia?
She comes with us. I have a property outside the city.
Remote. Defensible. He cupped my face. I will keep you safe. I swear it on my life.
Your life isn't the one I'm worried about. Something shifted in his expression. You're worried about me.
Of course.
You just started a war. Because I love you, Lorenzo said quietly.
The world stopped. What? I love you, Emilia.
I've been in love with you since you walked into my building and looked at me like I was just another person instead of a monster.
I love you.
And that's why I'll burn this city before I let anyone hurt you again. Tears spilled down my cheeks. That's the most terrifying love confession I've ever heard.
I know.
I'm not a good man. But loving you, protecting you, that's the only good thing left in me.
I kissed him.
Not because it was smart. Because despite everything, I was falling in love with him too. When we broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. We need to go.
But first.
He pulled out a small velvet box. Inside, a delicate necklace, St. Christopher pendant. It was my mother's. She told me to give it to someone worth protecting. He fastened it around my neck.
You're worth protecting, Emilia. You're worth everything.
Marco's voice crackled over the intercom. Sir, we have a problem.
Police.
Entire building surrounded.
Warrant for your arrest. On what charges?
Arson, conspiracy to commit murder, racketeering.
How long?
5 minutes before they breach. Lorenzo looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear.
We're out of time.
The next minutes were chaos. Lorenzo's men mobilized. Sophia brought up from medical.
What's happening?
Police are coming for Lorenzo. We need to leave.
Now. How? Helicopter.
I keep one on the roof. We climbed, Sophia, me, Lorenzo, Marco, guards. My ribs screamed but adrenaline pushed me forward. Behind us, shouting. Police entering.
Faster, Lorenzo urged.
We burst onto the roof as a police helicopter appeared, searchlight sweeping.
Lorenzo Valenti. Surrender immediately.
Lorenzo's helicopter sat on the far side, rotors spinning.
Run. We ran.
The police helicopter descended, trying to block us. Wind nearly knocked me off my feet, but Lorenzo's arm kept me upright. Gunfire erupted, Lorenzo's men engaging police.
Get in.
I climbed in, Sophia after me, Lorenzo behind.
Go. Go now.
The helicopter lurched into the air as police reached us. We lifted away. Below, Valenza City spread out, lights and darkness, order and chaos.
Everywhere, fires. Evidence of what we'd started. Where are we going? Sophia shouted. Switzerland. I have a safe house. We'll stay until this blows over. And if it doesn't? Then we don't come back. I looked down at my city, wondering if I'd ever see it again. The helicopter touched down at a private airfield across the Swiss border. A car waited, and within minutes we were driving through mountain roads. Sophia had fallen asleep against my shoulder. Lorenzo held my hand, thumb tracing circles. I'm sorry. For all of this. For changing your life. For making you a fugitive. I'm not a fugitive. I didn't do anything wrong. You're with me. In their eyes, that's crime enough. But I meant what I said. I love you, Emilia. And I'll spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret choosing to stay. I didn't choose this. No. But you're choosing to stay anyway. That's what matters. The car turned down a private drive. A compound appeared, stone and glass and security. Home sweet home. For now. We helped Sophia inside, got her settled with Dr. Castellano. Then Lorenzo led me to a room at the far end. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked a lake reflecting stars. It's beautiful. It's safe. That's all that matters. He wrapped his arms around me from behind. In the morning, we'll figure out our next move. But tonight, just breathe. You're alive. Sophia's alive. We made it. I turned to face him. What about Dante De Santo? My men will handle it. By the time we return to Valenza, if we return, he'll be neutralized. You mean dead? I mean no longer a threat. However that needs to happen. I should have been horrified. Instead, I kissed him again. Because he'd kept his promise. Because Sophia was safe. Because I was still breathing. When we broke apart, his eyes searched mine. What are you thinking? That my life will never be normal again. No, it won't. That I'm probably crazy for loving you anyway. His breath caught. Say that again. I love you. God help me, but I do. He kissed me, deep and slow and full of promises. God won't help you. But I will. Always. The news called it the Valenza City Gang War. 73 dead in 3 days. Lorenzo Valenti disappeared. The De Santo crime family decimated. What they didn't report. How Dante De Santo's body was found in a shipping container 3 weeks later. How every corrupt official was systematically exposed. How Lorenzo's organization restructured, emerged stronger. How Sophia eventually forgave me, met a nice banker, started to heal. How Lorenzo and I built a life in the spaces between his business trips, a life that was strange and dangerous and absolutely nothing I'd ever imagined. But it was ours. I stood on the balcony of our Swiss home, watching the sun rise over the lake, when Lorenzo's arms wrapped around me. Morning. Couldn't sleep. Too busy watching you. I smiled. Still watching me, even now. Always. That will never change. He turned me to face him. I got word from Marco. It's safe to return to Valenza if we want. New police commissioner, new political landscape. We could go home. Is it still home? Only if you're there. I thought about the city that had tried to destroy us. The city where I'd been invisible for so long. The city that now knew my name. What would we do there? Rebuild. Run the empire properly this time. Make Valenza into something better. But only if you want to. We can stay here. Go anywhere. As long as we're together, I don't care where we are. I kissed him softly. Let's go home. But on one condition. Anything. No more secrets. No more watching from shadows. If we're doing this, we do it together. Partners. Partners. In everything. When we returned to Valenza 2 weeks later, we returned as exactly that. The archivist and the Mafia boss. The invisible girl and the man who'd always seen her. Together. The city had shaken when Lorenzo asked 3 words in the rain, "Who did this to you?" But it trembled when I answered with 3 words of my own. I love you. And Valenza City would never be the same. So, what did you think? Did Lorenzo and Emilia's story break your heart and put it back together? Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment from this intense journey.
And if you loved this story, you need to subscribe to Undiluted Love Stories because we have so many more incredible tales coming your way. Hit that like button, share this with someone who loves mafia romance, and let me know what story you want to see next. Until then, remember, sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is let yourself be seen by the right person.